Good morning, friends. Perhaps you have wondered, was it necessary for Jesus Christ to die on the cross? Why is the cross necessary? Why was it necessary that the Son of God would suffer and die for our sins? I think I learned a practical example of that when I was a boy. My parents were missionaries in northwest China and Tibet, and one day when I was about 7 years of age, I was bored. I was being homeschooled, and I was done with my lessons, and I looked around our courtyard and noticed there was no one there, and I had no one to play with, and I saw our American bird dog over in the corner, and he was a wonderful watchdog, and there was a chain attached to his collar that was looped to a rung that hung out from the roof. And I thought, you know what, if I could let Blackie loose out on the street, it would create some interesting stuff for this day. I had enough sense to not let the chain slip off his collar, because then it would have been hard to catch. I jumped up on his dog box, and I lifted the chain off of the loop that it was attached to, and when the chain hit that dog box with a crack, Blackie was off running out the open gate, out into the street. People were running left and right as Blackie was chasing people. I yelled in the courtyard, "Blackie's loose, Blackie's loose," and my dad comes running out, and my brother comes running out, and the three of us are running down the street trying to catch Blackie, and Dad, in between huffs and puffs, says, "George, when you get home, you are going to get the whipping of your life." As a 7-year-old, I couldn't figure out how he already knew that it was me that let the dog loose, but obviously it must have been the guilt on my face. We finally caught up to Blackie. Fortunately, no one got bit, no one got hurt. And when we got home, my brother looked at the terror in my face at the prospect of punishment that was waiting me, and he did a very gallant thing. He said to Dad, "Dad, I've gotten more whippings than George." He said, I'll be glad to take his punishment for him. Let me take his punishment for him." Now, my brother made a very noble offer. And in fact, if my brother had taken my punishment, the effect of his punishment would have been salutary for me, because standing at the door, I could have heard my brother suffering for my sin, and I would have realized that wrong behavior has consequences. But my brother also could not have made the offer to take my punishment if he had been up on the dog box with me and participated with me in letting Blackie loose. His offer was only valid if he were the innocent party. Unfortunately, my dad was not aware at that moment of how a profound opportunity he had to display a theological truth, and he rejected my brother's offer and punished me instead. But in reality, this is what Christ has done for us on the cross. All have sinned and come short of the glory of God. There's only one person who can deal with our sin before God, and that is the person that is willing to be our substitute. That's why it's important that he himself was without sin. He had no sin. Therefore, his offer to bear our sin on the cross, to bear our punishment, is an offer that is acceptable because he himself was without sin. And the effect that it has on our behavior is enormous, because when we see the lengths that Jesus went to suffer for us, our own behavior is changed. May God be with you this day.